Hello, and thank you for stepping into the Fresh Thinking Lounge, where we take a fresh approach, bring a fresh perspective, and fresh point of view to food and dining management services. I'm your host, Victoria Vega, and today we're going to talk about supply chain management with Unidine's Vice President, Chris Stainton. Chris, can you tell our audience a little bit about you and your role and responsibility here at Unidine?
Hello, Victoria. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I've actually been in supply chain now for about 15 years. Been here with Unidine for a little bit over 9 years. Came here for a great opportunity to head up a supply chain team with a fast-growing organization. It's been an excellent time here working with Richard Schenkel in the development of the programs, and we're excited to be a part of the organization.
Well, excellent. It's got to be so unique to have a fresh food pledge and to really work with some of the vendors and local farmers that we know that our chefs in the field love to utilize. But before we get to that, Chris, I know that especially coming out of this pandemic, there's been so much concern about availability of product, about availability of personal protective equipment, about the integrity of where food's coming from, and of course the impact of shortages, not just of wasted food because it's not being harvested, but the lack of workers all along the literal supply chain from manufacturing and production to transportation. So can you tell our audience, how does an integrated supply chain management department really benefit an organization like Unidine?
Absolutely. Because we're fully engaged in the process, integrated with all of our systems, we work closely with our culinary team and our operators to make sure that we're identifying all of the right products that meet the specifications that we need in the business. Because we execute against a fresh food pledge, we actually buy much higher up in the supply chain. We focus more on commodities than we do on finished products. I think you'll see out there a lot of food service is buying further processed, convenience type items, cooked products, frozen products that really have their own specifications or recipes or ingredients. Because we buy at the commodity level, it allows us a much larger selection of products. So we're not really tied into, for example, a particular breaded chicken tender that we have to purchase at all times. We purchase at the commodity level with the raw chicken tender, and then we batter and bread it ourselves. So we have a much larger population or world of items that we can purchase from. As it relates to some of the PPE products that we ran into, we really had the opportunity, because we are a closed system, to identify exactly what it was that we needed and when we needed it, and we were able to go out and execute against that. So early on during the pandemic, we actually polled all of our customers and clients to identify what it is that they wanted or needed and what we could do for them. And then I engaged a broker and identified products that we could source directly from China, brought it in over a 2 to 3 week period, and made those products available to all of our clients. So we were actually able to move a little bit quicker than we might have been able to move otherwise if we were completely tied into another supply chain structure.
That's incredible. So can you talk a little bit about how Unidine's supply chain really, it sounds like it supports not only efficiencies for our clients, but cost containment as well?
So as we work through our My U Suite, which is our recipe, menu, ingredient, nutritional, resident, patient system, all of those things are linked together with the actual products that we're purchasing. So we're able to identify the specification that goes into all of those recipes and menus, and we're able to go out and source specifically those items and make sure that those are the products that are available to our operators by putting them on our order guides. So we don't have people buying, for example, a ribeye when they should be buying a top round. This really helps in managing the food cost and the plate cost of the particular products that we're bringing to the residents.
Well, and just in the chicken example you gave us as well, it sounds like our chefs at Unidine are fabricating the chicken from whole chickens to get to their tenders and their different pieces as they're making their recipes.
Yep. So we obviously have chefs along the entire continuum. We do have some purchasing whole chickens and breaking those down into the individual parts and using where needed in individual recipes. But we also buy the individual commodities as well. A lot of times that helps with waste. You have some chefs with significantly more skills than others, and they're able to do that and able to protect against the food waste in those particular situations. But as it ties into the cost savings opportunity, when you think about a fully cooked, battered, and breaded chicken tender, that might run you $4.20 a pound. The way that we do it, we buy our chicken tenders at about $1.80 a pound, and then we add in our own breading, our own batter, our own egg wash, and then we fry it ourselves. So our end cost is significantly less than what you would get with a fully cooked, battered, and breaded chicken tender.
So that makes sense when Unidine projects to save about 15% on food cost for our clients when they go into a new unit opening, that we're able to leverage our supply chain and our vendor partners for better pricing and better product.
Absolutely. Just like breaking down the chicken, when you break down a watermelon, or you break down broccoli, or you break down cauliflower, being able to cut that into the primary portions and then having leftover food products that might go into another recipe, a ragu, or into soup stock, or into some type of sauce, really gives us the opportunity to utilize every part of all of the products that we're purchasing into the back of the house.
That's excellent, Chris. We're hearing so much about safety, about integrity of the supply chain. In our post-COVID reality, how does effective vendor management control really benefit our clients from how we procure the items that we do on their behalf?
So this is, again, tied back into our MyU Suite systems, because we know exactly what the ingredients are that are going to be required. We're able to identify what we want to buy and who we want to buy from, who we want to buy those products from, and we put those onto a specific order guide that each one of our individual facilities purchases off of. So we actually closely monitor and limit the available products that are being purchased. Again, if there's a supply issue, we might take one thing off and add another thing back on, but it's all tied into the quality assurance that Compass Group brings to the table for us as our parent company. So we really hold that pretty tight, and we don't allow our operators to just go out and buy whatever they want, whenever they want, for whatever they need. It is all tied into our MyU Suite system with all of the recipes and ingredients that are there and the seasonal menus that are put in place for the residents.
So if I drove from Boston to New Jersey today and I passed a farm stand on a side road selling honey, you would discourage me from buying that because the traceability and the origin of the product could be detrimental to our clients.
It could be. We might discourage you from buying that particular honey, but we do make available local honeys through our local produce providers. They make sure to manage the supply chain, the cold chain, the generally acceptable agricultural processes, to go out and identify local suppliers that can meet the supply for all of our facilities, not just individual facilities. So when a client or a chef sees that local honey, we might bring to them another local honey that can meet the needs of all of our facilities instead of just creating a solution for one individual facility.
That's great. So we partner with our supply vendors to really identify who those local farmers are so that we can leverage that, and they're going on our behalf to bring not just one but a whole group of an agricultural conglomerate together as our resource, almost like a cooperative, huh?
And our produce partners really are key to what we do in the business. We actually purchase about 18% of our total food spend goes through our produce suppliers, and that's significantly higher than you'll see in most of the business because we do execute at that fresh commodity level. But we do partner with them on the local side to bring to us where required and where there's an opportunity. Some local fresh meats, some local products like the honey, like cheeses. So we do spend a lot more with those produce partners.
Excellent. How does Unidine support inventory management, Chris?
We support it through our primary order entry system, My Orders. It's all tied into those specific products that are on order guides. The pricing of the products flows through directly into the system. It's a weekly process, so when a purchase is made, the number of cases flow through into the inventory system, the pricing is there, and then the operators just need to go through, count what's in the front of the facility and what's in the back of the facility, and then enter that into the system, and it carries through for the weekly inventory.
So again, another efficiency I'm hearing of where our chefs and managers can use our recipe integration to help them with their orders, and then on the back end it all becomes cyclical with the amount of inventory on site, so that you know how much we're buying of everything all year long to then, I'm sure, negotiate on the best level for our clients.
It is all tied together. Being able to make sure that we've got all of the products that we need when we need them. We do change up our menus pretty often. The core changes are the spring, summer, fall, winter menus, but in between, each one of our facilities is very unique, and they're allowed to change up their menus and their recipes. Let me change that. Their menus, not their recipes, because the recipes are all locked and loaded through our My Suite system by our culinary team. So we have to be flexible and ready to meet the needs of any of those menu changes.
Well, I know we've had our Chief Culinary Officer into the Fresh Thinking Lounge. So Randy told us there are well over 20,000 recipes within that My Suite database. So that's a lot of product to have to keep an eye on. What's the favorite thing that you've always liked to order? What's your favorite category management?
Oh, well, my roots tie back to purchasing meats. I did a large bit of purchasing for a QSR restaurant group where I was responsible for purchasing all of the ground beef. So that's where my roots really lie back. So I'm really tied into local meat houses, local seafood houses, and I just really enjoy the whole meat side of the business.
Well, great, Chris. What's one parting thought that you can give our audience about the importance of supply chain in building efficiencies in the back of the house that are not only going to save money on your budget, but be influential on your brand?
Great question. I think I would have to say that the most important part is that the systems, processes, and procedures are all set up and managed and monitored by the supply chain team. As an individual operator, as a district manager, as culinarians, you don't have to do the purchasing. You don't have to think about where the products are going to come from, what items are on your order guide, what you need to select. It's all tied together in the end-to-end processes and procedures. It's all there. So we do all of this work so that our culinarians in the field can focus specifically on the job of delivering great food on a consistent basis.
Excellent. You heard it here. It's about great food, fresh thinking, and using our supply chain management strategy to bring efficiency as well as traceability to our clients and customers. Thanks for stepping into the Fresh Thinking Lounge, Chris.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you on our installment next month. From Unidine's Culinary and Innovation Center, have a great week.